Thank you, Bill. I am very pleased to be presenting this part of the program because I really consider this one of the core aspects. Dr. Underwood talked about the 21st century, and this is where we really begin developing opportunities for the 21st century. The original U56 program was modeled, well, had a large component for education and training. And as you can see from one of the earlier slides, as many as 22 students were reached through that. One of the primary ways that they were engaged was with research assistants in the research programs that you've heard much about. But there's a whole component of this that's also dedicated specifically to graduate studies. And in one aspect of it, we have funding for student awards for master's degrees here at the University of Guam. And then we also have a program to encourage students to enroll at the University of Hawaii in advanced graduate and PhD studies, supported by their portion of the grant and by their faculty at the Cancer Research Center of Hawaii. And then also we have a program where we promote faculty to go for training and mentoring at the collaboration at the University of Hawaii. The portion regarding our own students here and our own master's students was in the U56 grant was really focused on biological studies. And most of the people went on into, if they went on into graduate studies, it was in biological research. But we added a dimension to that with social and cultural studies this time by including the Micronesian Studies program as a core to the program. It'll be actually the core for a cohort of students. And I'd like to introduce those students to you. And if you would please come up. I know you don't want to, but we have, and I don't know, let's see, Melani, Anjelica, Okada, please come up. And Sara Namazi is here, please come up. Carmen Kautz. Everybody's got you, okay, very good. And Melani Montano is here, excellent, everybody's here. And these are 4 extraordinary students where we have a couple of others who have already applied that we're hoping to support also, but these students are in the program. We're working on getting them set up with tuition benefits and stipends and so forth. I'd like to ask them to just take a minute and very briefly tell about their research, which all bears on addressing cancer health disparities in the region. Anjelica, Okada. Oh! See, if I warned you, you'd have been nervous the whole time. Now you only have a few minutes.
Good evening. My name is Anjelica Okada. Graduate of the University of Guam with an anthropology degree. So sticking here is my natural choice. My focus on cancer studies would be on more of a social effect of the people of Guam who've been affected by the radiation exposure. Most importantly, I was looking at the Pacific Association of Radiation Survivors and how they have struggled with trying to be identified and compensated by the U.S. government for being a downwinder. Thank you.
And Sara Namazi.
Good afternoon. My name is Sara Namazi. I graduated from the University of Guam in the biology program as well. And I'm doing my master's in the environmental sciences. And my thesis will be on radon and its association with lung cancer. I'm looking at coming up with a statistical model to see if radon has anything to do or possibly has something to do with the lung cancer cases on Guam, with different villages.
Thank you, Sara. Carmen Kautz.
I'm tall enough. So many of the cancers that have been spoken about today have primarily focused on lung cancer and oral cancer. However, many of the cancers that weren't focused on would be like the colon cancers, the liver cancers, the other cancers. And not a lot is known about them. However, it is known that certain chemicals within our environment are able to induce certain cancers, such as the ones that haven't been so much focused on today. Those compounds are polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, polychlorinated biphenyls, and dioxins, and you can find these in things like cigarette smoke, but they're found in the environment, not directly through inhaling, or things like car exhaust, or burning of trash, or plastics. So my study focuses on looking at the levels of, or finding a suitable way to make a biomarker to assess the levels of pollutants in the environment. And what I'm specifically doing is looking at sedzin, or Sigena spinus, a common rabbitfish here in Guam, and I'm finding out if they're able to be induced through the cytochrome P450 system, which is an enzyme system that is induced whenever they're subjected to these types of pollutants. And then from that, I hope to make a risk exposure map around Guam by taking fish from different sites and determining the levels of pollution around the sites around Guam.
Thank you, Carmen. Melani, Montano.
Well, hello, my name is Melani Montano. I graduated from University of Guam in biology, and I'm currently working at Pacific Regional Central Cancer Registry. So this study is actually inspired while I was working at Guam Cancer Registry and then moved up to Purser. It's a study on surveillance on environmental violations and its association to respiratory-related cancer. Now, right now, I know that there is more of a lifestyle risk factor related to lung cancer, but I would like to see how environmental could also be related to the incidents that happens on the island. And that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you, Melanie, and thank you all. And this is the future. We're very excited about it.